Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of City Skylines. As always, thank you very much for your support. 2,000 likes and there'll be another episode tomorrow. Let's get that out of the way because I know you all want to see some City Skylines. And our city is doing ever so well. We've made tons of progress recently and we're going to continue doing that in this episode. First of all, I'd like to go around and talk about things that I've been doing in between the episodes. So as always, lots of parks and paths going on everywhere, increasing the land value of the city in general, putting down paths to create shortcuts for traffic, and I'm not going to go over it in close-up detail or anything like that. Clicked on the wrong thing there, didn't I? But yes, the city is doing extremely well. Look at our land value, it's increasing all over the place, which is good to see. And you may notice things like this where I've added in trees down the side and extra paths going across. Just loads and loads of that going on. For example, a little road right here that's actually made quite a bit of difference. It pulls some traffic outside of the main city and allows it to exit over here, which is pretty cool because we've got these little connections here onto the road as well. So loads of little things going on everywhere. Now in the last episode we experimented a little bit with high-tech housing. That seemed to work out really well, and I've been saying this for quite some time now, but look again, the income just tends to level out. You know, we do something, all of a sudden there's a burst of income, and then over time it levels out. It just feels like it's always going to hover somewhere between 10 and 5,000. This is one of the areas that we did. I've now done that on a couple of other areas. You can see these have all gone up to high tech, and I'm considering doing it for the entire city and then maybe raising taxes up by 1%. But what we could do is come over to this area, open up a policy to now tax the high housing, so we can go let's do it for high density since most of that is so, and then we'll keep our eye on this area, and we're probably going to see them complain about the taxes, but if not, we'll make a bunch more money, and straight away it looks like it's starting to jump up, which is a cool thing. So as well as that, we also had a little problem over in this area, which is still expanding. I'm always coming over here and adding extra buildings in. You can see that they're going to basically burn down and be rebuilt after a while because we have no services in this area, but that doesn't really seem to be too much of a problem because life goes on. Anyway, there's an immense amount of trucks in this area, and we had a little bit of a problem over here with things backing up really bad. I mean, going all the way up onto the highway, all the way down this road here. Also, this thing disappeared yet again. It's done that a few times now. Anyway, my solution to the problem was simply to replace this right here with highway ramps. So it's the same road, except because there's no traffic lights, the traffic moves a little quicker, and therefore they're always just coming around here, going in, and then exiting again. And it's really awesome to watch, actually. You can just see they are coming over here with tons and tons of goods. They're either shipping it out of the country and selling it, or I guess stuff comes in from here and goes all the way into this area as well, which is interesting. Things get imported. But yeah, that small change made a huge difference. And what it made me think is that as we expand here, I reckon this is going to become a problem soon. And what we might need is 2 of these. However, these trains are coming back and forth constantly, and they seem to go up to around 80%, and then they leave. You can see, as I'm talking about it, another one right here. So that one went up to 40%, and then by the time this one goes in, it'll just take whatever's inside this, which we can't actually see, which would be nice if we could see how much was being stored there. But anyway, it's nice to know that that's working and that this experiment has been a success. Feel free to do this in your own cities. It really does work. You don't need no services in these areas, just metros. They bring in the employees, and you can see we've got some good industry going. It's fantastic. I like it. So anyway, back over to this area because I have renamed some of these. My spelling is really bad. If ever you want to correct me on my spelling, I do not mind at all. I saw some of you being quite polite and saying, I don't mean to be rude, but you know what, it's fine. So this is now spelt correctly, as is the commercial. Nope, I forgot to do the commercial area. There was one. I think we just needed an extra M there. And there you go, spelt correctly. So as well as that, I had a suggestion to call the outside area the outer drive, and I really like that name. Sounds very cool. And so now that's been perfectly done, actually. If we click on our districts and have a look here, you can see it's a perfect circle, sort of. That's because I went with the tool and latched myself to this road. So we've got this lovely curve going all the way around. It's interesting how it gets a little bit closer. Actually, it's not, is it? It's just the 3D effect because this road is higher. Cool stuff. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing. What else is there to talk about right here? Ah, yes. Yes, this area over here. Do you remember we had some traffic issues? Well, some of you suggested that the road that pointed into the solar area right here was causing some problems with right-hand turns, which meant they're all trying to get in the same lane. So I moved that over here, and then I observed they were still doing the same thing. So I decided to attach this little road right here to change this one into a straight, so it's straight up to here, and then when they move into this area they see the right hand turn, so that means the cars start shifting over right here, and for some reason when they shift lanes in this position they kind of move into each other, or at least it doesn't slow down traffic. There you go, those cars just went through each other, that's what I'm talking about, except they do it when they change lanes, so it's actually solved the problem but also shown the game has a few problems of its own to sort out. So anyway, with our expansion over here of what's called Washington Park by default, feel free to leave a suggestion for that if you have one. We have now got another monument. We are getting very close to unlocking all of these, and we've also got the Grand Library. We've actually unlocked all of them, haven't we? All but one. And we need all city service buildings. We'll work towards that, don't worry. We're going to attach another one of these. And I saw this on Reddit. Again, I like to check up on Reddit every couple of days. It was a while ago I saw this, but basically if you put this thing here, then, I mean, that explains itself, doesn't it? It's going to look amazing. You can have airplanes flying through the ring. So that's what we're going to do. And I think I might just do that off camera and show you in a bit, because there'll be a bit of track rearranging over here. And this is actually one of the things that I wanted to do this episode. I saw a suggestion for it. There we go. We can't do that policy. Let's change it. Never seem to be able to get away with that, can we? Let's put it back. That's fine by me. Then the tax money will go down and it'll probably come back up again. Anyway, so yes, the suggestion was to add another train line over here. If we bring up the traffic in the city, you'll see that our train lines are pretty red most of the time. In some areas they look really bad, and that was this area right here a while ago. Seems to be okay at the moment. But the suggestion was, a similar idea to what I had, to put in an alternative line. So what we could do is make a little break right here and perhaps have a track that goes down the middle, or just a third track along here, which is basically going to the same place as these ones, but it just gives a third line. So where you see we've got all of this traffic right here, they can go, aha, let's go down this line instead. However, my thoughts are, I don't think the game actually works like that. I think the trains are always going to pick the shortest route, so they'd end up all going onto one line, getting jammed, and there'd be another line left over. But we'll be able to find out. This thing is a mess, as you can see. I've not really messed with the train traffic too much, but we'll try and do that, throw in an alternative line. And that's one of the other plans for this episode. So, yeah, one last thing to mention. I do want to add a new road as well. We're going to add one that's going to have a roundabout over here. We're going to break this road right here. It's going to go round the back, and it's going to connect over onto this side. Now, what I'm thinking is we're going to need more commercial as we expand all of this into residential. So if we put our commercial area here, it means residents can move upwards towards it. It moves it away from the areas that we've already got. And by having a road that rings around like this, I don't think this is going to become a shortcut. So where we connect the road up the top to this area, it's not like people are going to start driving straight through it, because the roads sort of go all over the place. So that means we'd have our industry that create goods for the commercial, which we're going to put up here, coming this way. And if we just have a look at the traffic, you know, most of the time it's heading down. And so if we can send it up, then this road is less congested, which means it should work. So we'll be able to send stuff into the commercial. It'll probably come straight back the same way. And yeah, so we're going to start work on a new area up here. But I don't know how much I can actually get done. Just wanted to let you know all my plans. And I think we're going to start off with that alternative train line and also the ring at the bottom of the airport. You see this guy up here? I think I know where he's going. He's coming down. He's going to land. You know, I've been waiting here for ages. Waiting for one to come around. What is that guy doing? He's flying all over the place. I thought he was a bird at first. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Superman. There we go. He's coming in for landing. This looks fantastic. I've seen a couple of them come through now. Oh, that is ever so cool. What a brilliant idea. And there goes the aeroplane. Amazing stuff right there. Let's actually switch out of this view quickly, because you can click on the aeroplanes. Kind of obvious. I didn't think of that before. 34 passengers. Very cool. It's also taxing, or yeah, taxing, not quite sure what that means, but there you go. Terrific idea, and it does actually look very, very cool. You see, it's in an area where it can stand out because there's not lots of big buildings around it, so that is a really nice feature in this middle area between the cities that is looking ever so good. I really do like it, got to say, and excellent suggestion right there. So as well as that, I was going to do the train line, but I've been looking up and down here, and I just feel like if we put it in, it's going to be all raised up and ugly. There isn't a lot of space. I kind of like the amount of trees that we have here, and I'm pretty sure they're going to take the shortest journey. So for now, I'm going to leave the trains thing on hold yet again. But over here, I've started work on the highway. Just wanted to show you this intersection right here. It's pretty cool. I know, but it does have one problem. You see, what we really want is for one road to go over the other one and connect over here, because it's going to turn on to the road when traffic is going to turn off of it as well. Now that could be a problem if we have a high amount of traffic using this turning right here, but if not, it should be okay. So we're probably going to build the same thing on this side over here, and I do anticipate it will be a little bit of a problem, but what I like is the design and the fact that one road doesn't have to go over the top of the other one. So in order to show you what I'm talking about there, we could actually just click over here, and you can see that one road goes over the top of the other one. So we built our own tiny little intersection right there. We'll do the same thing over here, and then we'll put in a roundabout, and that means we can start work on the commercial zone, which we're going to need because in order to expand our residential, as I said before, we need more commercial and more industrial. But again, the demand has stayed the same. They want more. There's still plenty of room for more. Let's fill in all of that. There's no shortages of workers as well, so we'll fill in all of that right there. What else can we give them? All of that. You can see a couple of places over here with shortages, and let's go for that little bit right there as well. And remember that building that burned down? Yep, it burnt down and then came back up again. So not a problem at all, is it? I know that's probably going to affect the rating of the thing somewhere, but the truth is, adding in some fire coverage for these areas would be very costly with the amount that we have here at the moment. So it's kind of cool that it works like that. Now I think I'm going to stalk this plane and watch him go back in through the loop. I love watching him come in like that. But yeah, while I'm doing that, I'll also, of course, get the rest of the road done as well. No zoning roads as of yet. We've got our road coming through here. We're going to go with a basic roundabout to start off with because the traffic will be low. We've got an over road going across here. This is to separate it because it's going over to the incinerators, and I've moved this back a little bit because of all the pollution here. As I put in the road, I realised if we move all of these close to the edge, we'll have a little less pollution here, and actually all of this space now is kind of freed up for building on because I've moved the train tracks over here. Before they were sort of going all over the place, and I've tidied up the road up here a little bit as well. We've got a junction here at the top, which is interesting. Initially this road, the outbound one, was on the opposite side, and if you put them on this side like that, then everything coming down just goes straight down that side, and everything going up just goes straight out on the right road, which is cool. So no traffic problems there. This is our little joining junction. We built one of these before, and actually there's a similar one right in front of it. So imagine this was a real road system. When you turn off going down here, you're just going to have so many signs, it would be really confusing. You've got access to the industrial area, access to get around here, and then this area. And what we might end up doing is putting a ramp or two that goes from this side to that side as well, and then that might make use of this. I don't know if we're ever going to get too much traffic down here. In fact, at the moment the only ever traffic you see is in this direction. Hardly ever see a car go that way around, but there you go. So we joined that up, and we're going to do a little bit of zoning next, but there is one more thing that I want to do, and that is actually try and use that high, what is it called? It was a policy, and the name completely eludes me at the moment. Let's open up our policies tab. High-tech housing. Why couldn't I remember that? I think we're going to enable that for the entire city, but then we're also going to put the price of the tax up by 1%, because when we use the policy, the taxation one, it goes up by 2% and it never seems to work. So I haven't actually opened up the budget panel in a long time. We're at 12% on everything, so we're going to go for 13, and while I'm building this new area, we can keep an eye on it. That's already at 13. Let's try 14% then. Got a feeling that might not work. We could also try taxing some of these a little bit more while we're at it. The zones are all a lot better. Let's go for 13 there, 13 there as well. And let's see what happens. I'm going to keep a close eye on this now because we have increased taxes a lot all over the place. And I'd like to see this number here shoot up, but now of course all the houses in the city are upgrading to high tech, and that is a lot of areas when you think about it. So the budget might be close for a while, but there you go. They're loving it. They're upgrading, going up to the next star level, which is fantastic. And that's something you guys have been pointing out as well. You can hover over the star here and it'll tell you what you need to do to upgrade it to the next level. So that one says land value, so pretty much building a park around here would help a lot. But there you go. Alright, had a wave of inspiration. The original idea was to build a sort of commercial area over here. We will do that. You can see we now got 2 roundabouts. That's because I felt like I wanted to do another one of these little projects like this, a kind of square enclosed between some other motorways, and it's not quite the same location, but if we have a look at the kind of space that's left around these areas, it's the kind of thing where you fill it in with trees. So I decided to do this here, and my inspiration was to build some sort of like square grid with one-way roads that made it easy to get everywhere. And I have no idea if this is going to work, you know, I'm no expert, but let me explain it to you, and then you can make your own judgment about it. So we have a one-way road like this that goes around the outside. It also goes across the middle to connect all of this together, so you can disperse straight into the middle of the whole grid. You can also come back onto this road right here to get out again. So with one-way roads, we know the traffic flows a lot better if they're laid out right. So over here we have a one-way entrance and a one-way exit, and then this road goes in the opposite direction around like this, which I'm not sure is actually a benefit. I think it would be if these ones connected more frequently to the other roads, because then it'd be easier to wind from one place to another. So for example, to get over here, you have to go in like this, and then across here, and then up and around, because this one goes in this direction, the one at the bottom goes in this direction, so again the opposite direction to down here. You can either turn up, go to these areas, or go straight across and around like this. And then we got some one-way roads in the middle here as well. So I'm hoping that helps with traffic. I think what it's probably going to do is kind of extend the overall journey, but then the traffic will be moving a lot faster. And then we have two-way roads over here. We've installed some paths. These have been put in the correct positions to allow grids of 4 block buildings. And what we're going to do is put in the high density stuff, commercial, and we're also going to put in a couple of monuments in here as well. The first one of which I think would be the Grand Library, and that's something I just realized I didn't look at how big this building actually was. So that's probably going to go all the way back here. And what's this area of effect like? Wow, that is massive. We actually want that to affect a lot of our residential stuff. Maybe I'll think about this a little bit more. These ones with smaller area of effects are probably going to be better, and it looks like we're actually left with all the ones that have a huge area. So if it's not going to be, particularly optimal because we want it to hit up our residential areas, then do you know what? By now, I'm not too fussed. We'll definitely save a couple of these buildings to go somewhere else in the city, though. That seems kind of smart. Maybe the ones with low noise around them would be easier to fit in. So I'll take my time thinking about this, but that is the plan. I will put down the parks and services. You've seen me do that many times, and we'll start zoning this area. Remember, it's going to be all commercial, and we're going to have a few special buildings in here as well. And on another note, before I forget, the taxation went down well. The offices accepted it, the industry did as well, and the higher residential. However, I think it was the lower density, these two right here had to go down, also did that one. So we raised it up a little bit overall. But look, time goes by, and once again, we're back to around 8,000 on our weekly income. So we've gone for these 3 buttes right here. We have the aquarium, the Grand Library, and the Science Centre. They're going to give a huge boost to these areas. Also going to bring in a lot of tourism. So we've got some transport hooked up down here. We've got a metro station, one in each corner. And then we've got our commercial zones in the middle, some parks. And the grid just manages to connect up, which I find quite amusing. And yeah, it's a case of just watching this thing grow at the moment. So you can see our commercial demand has gone right down, which should mean the residential should kick back in. And did I see some... No, okay, I thought I saw some complaint bubbles. We should see some growth over in this area. Also got to balance that with some industrial, because even though we have demand, we have a shortage of workers where we expanded rapidly. That's actually gone down since I last checked, so that is a very good sign indeed. But if we come back over to this area, and actually we don't need to come back here. The other thing that I wanted to mention was the unique buildings. We have now done all up to tier 5, with the exception of the observatory. Must not forget about that one. So now we've got 2 more here to do and 1 more to unlock. That means we're getting very close to having these monuments, and we can actually now build the medical centre, which is supposed to take care of the entire city's medical needs. We're not going to do that in this episode. We'll be doing that in the next one, but that will probably have its own little area. Maybe over here we'll put it, or some other little gap. Somewhere we'll find a place for it. But those other unique buildings I kind of want to put back in these areas, and there's definitely space for it. We could put something around here, maybe rearrange the roads a little bit, open up something in the middle. Let's actually have a look. If we were to put one of these right here, the noise wouldn't get near the residents, so we could kind of wrap the roads around the outside, make them overpasses, and have a connection between the two. We could do something very interesting, that's for sure. But anyway, for now, on the rest of the episode, what I want to do is concentrate on the development of this area right here. So I've noticed something about these buildings. Some of them are 2 stars, not quite 3. That's not the one to show you. This one right here, you can see that the noise is holding the ones at the front here back. However, the ones behind it are all 3-star. And if we go back to that one, you'll see that it has a cargo demand as well. And I have seen a few suggestions from you guys in the comments to put a cargo bay for this area over here, which is something I thought about doing, but could never really find the ideal place to put it. But for this area, we could actually put one down. Now, I wanted to have it facing in this direction, but because we're on a big slope, had to put it over to the side, which is why everything here is a little bit awkward. But this seemed like the ideal place, and yes, this is something that I want to address. There are traffic lights here where everything going into it goes in the same direction, so something here needs to change to a highway ramp, and then we should be able to fix that problem right there. But anyway, I just chose this place because you can go straight into the city by going left. Then you've got access to all these roads, and then once they're done delivering their goods, they can make their way out on the opposite side and come back around again. So it seems like a good idea. But yes, I think this thing is going to help deliver goods into the city. So we hooked it up. We got some strange tracks as always. That seems to be happening. And now I'm just going to keep my eye on it and see what happens. And hopefully if they get cargo deliveries, then they should get an upgrade, or it might be based on a radius thing, because you can see there the cargo is still small. And over on this side, it's small as well. So I guess it's based on delivery more so than how far away it is from this thing. But it seems to be working. There's stuff coming in, or something's happening over here. There we go. Looks like we got our first delivery of goods. And when we click on that, are we... Oh, that disappeared. Interesting stuff. And as I was about to say, when we click on this, are we looking at each cargo or the train as a whole? 20%, 20%. Yeah, it's probably the train as a whole, actually. And can we click on the one at the front? Yes, we can. But anyway, there you go. We are making progress. All of this area right here has been filled up, and the demand is still very high. This area is starting to flesh out, but it's ever so small. It feels like you need more commercial buildings than you do residential ones at the moment, which is a little bit strange. But steadily, this is expanding. I'm just continuously coming over here and zoning stuff, and this part of the city does look really pretty, but it's going to be soon before I have to edit and upload this video. So I'll try and get more done in this area, and I'll definitely show it when we wrap things up. Okay, this works. I've just clicked on every car here, or at least the first 4, and they're all delivering to places in this area, which is good to see. And I think as they get those deliveries, those demands are going to be met. I haven't found any buildings with the cargo raised up yet, but I guess there's a lot of buildings here to click on. That one seems to be just a little bit higher. And I also put in some public transport, so we've got some bus lines that go around in a circle. Then over here, where it's connected up by footpath, there's a massive crowd at this one right here, so loads of people want to use the bus. The metro's popular as well. I hooked this up just a moment ago. I haven't renamed any of the tracks yet because we haven't got a name for this place as of yet. And that one's got a field on top of it. That's cool. I like that. And yes, so this thing has sort of been hooked up to this area over here with a line, and then some of the areas over here. And at the moment, our metro system is just a complete jumble. Let's have a look. There you go. It's really hard to work with. It's a complete headache because nothing's in a grid. It's just random lines all over the place. So it's kind of like hard to hook everything up, or at least to make sense of it while you do it. But I've zoned out these areas at the front, and realistically I don't have too much more time now, so I guess we can continue developing this in between episodes, and in the next one I'll show you how well it does. But basically it's going to be a case of zoning all of this out, steadily watching it grow, making sure all the needs are met, building a few parks here and there, and then zoning out this area over here. And you can see some of this new area that I've zoned, they're moving into it straight away. So I probably need to go over here and take care of this area as well, make sure we can get them all up to 5 stars. And last of all, let's go and check on our industry again. This has been going very well, however our rapid expansion has created some shortages of workers. I imagine they're going to work in the commercial areas as well. So as we're building that, we're creating problems over here as well, which is interesting because we can't ever seem to make enough commercial to meet the residential demand. So it's an interesting balance right there, and I think once we've built this, we'll struggle to get the residential to grow. But that's going to be it for this episode. Hope you've enjoyed it. Remember, we built this thing over here. It's absolutely awesome. It'd be cool if a plane was landing right now, but it looks like it isn't, so we'll just have to end it on this note. That building looks very, very cool, doesn't it? So, as always, if you want to see another episode tomorrow, leave a like, 2,000 of those for another daily episode. But that's it from me. This one, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.